Good evening, Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Shlach and Chutz La'aretz, Parshas Korach in Eretz Yisrael, Shabbos Mevorchim Tamuz, also the Shabbos before Gimel Tamuz to Rebbe's Yartzeit. There's an obvious connection between Shlach and Korach. Shlach finishes off with the laws of tzitzis, and Korach starts off his rebellion against Moshe, challenging Moshe with the laws of tzitzis, a beged, a tzitzis that's full of tchelis, if it needs to have tzitzis or not. Also, Dasan and Aviram in the defiance to Moshe say that also you're not going to take us into the land. So we see clearly that the story of Korach followed the story of the spies. Not only that, but also we find that there's similar issues. There's some sort of confusion in in the direction of the Jewish people. We know the Jewish people. We've been given 613 mitzvahs and the Torah, but the commandments in the Torah there's still open a lot of space of what kind of environment and what's really our purpose. If a person wants to just do the Torah and the mitzvahs, of course, we know exactly what we have to do. There's 613 mitzvahs. This is what we should do. This is what we shouldn't do. There's a lot of scenarios, a lot of cases that the mitzvahs apply or are applicable to. But there's a lot of space of where these mitzvahs could be applied to, and where we're living and what kind of environment we are, and then the mitzvahs that we're doing within this space. But the kind of space of where we are in our life sometimes is not so clear. And therefore the the spies say, we don't want to go into Eretz Yisrael. We'll do the mitzvahs in the Midbar. Why do we have to go into Eretz Yisrael? Eretz Yisrael, there won't be any man. There won't be any of the water from Miriam. We're no longer going to live in a miraculous space. We're no longer going to have the freedom and the security of the desert. We're going to have to live in the world, in society, and over there do the Torah mitzvahs. We'd rather do the Torah mitzvahs in the desert where we have the safety. We have Moshe Rabbeinu. And then Korach, on the contrary, says that if it's all about just doing the mitzvahs, let's just do the mitzvahs everyone equally. Why does it have to be leadership? So we have the Torah mitzvahs, everything is there, but the question, there's a lot of doubt and a lot of tension about the setting and where, and there's a lot of confusion between the two stories of Korach and the Meraglim. I saw a video this week. The Rebbe says what defines the person as a chassid of the Rebbe is at the end of the day, they could say that today they were better off at the end of the day than they were in the beginning of the day. They've grown, they've moved in their day in Torah mitzvahs. And that's a chassid of the Rebbe. And so we see that how do we define? It's within Torah mitzvahs. The Rebbe could have said if you do Torah mitzvahs, of course, that's important. But the setting of how the Torah mitzvahs affected your day-to-day life, that's the question. Have you grown today? And the one of the ideas that the Rebbe brings down in the discussion of the spies is that when the spies said they don't want to go into Eretz Yisrael, they don't want to go into land, they don't want to go into Teva, into nature. And so Moshe Rabbeinu says that you're scared of nature, you're scared of the restrictions where there's no longer miraculous life, that can we be effective when we go out to the world and the challenges of the world. And Kalev and Yeshua say, yes, you can. At the end of the day, there's a very nice line. The Rebbe says it's like the Kodesh HaKadoshim, it's like the Holy of Holies. That the Aron took up space. We take up space. We're measured. Our lives have meaning. We wake up in the morning. We have all the limitations of a person that lives in the world. But nevertheless, Makam Ha'aron Eina Min Hamida. When we're measuring the space around the Aron, as if the Aron doesn't exist. There's this tension that we're here, we exist, we have needs, we have to pay our bills, we have worries, we have anxieties. But at the same time, it's as if the world doesn't exist. And that kind of requirement that a person has to make within their life, that be like an Aron, be like an ark, that's in the Holy of Holies, that's in the space of the world, in God's creation. We're here, we have our needs, we have our things, but at the same time, we're not part of the space of the world. That was very confusing for both the spies and Korach. The spies said, how could a person live in the world and not be part of the space? And the Korach said, if it's just about being effective in the world, then maybe we make up no space at all. We just have to do the mitzvahs, but there's no leadership, there's no, just like mechanical. But how can we have both a defined space, a level of self, and at the same time not take up any space in the world? It was confusing for both Korach and the spies. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was really telling the Jewish people. That the person, if you get rid of if you could want to look back and realize and see if you're actually moving, do you exist, is something happening in your life, then look backwards at the end of the day, the Rebbe says, and say, am I a better person this afternoon, this evening, than I was this morning? Have I grown? Have I become more solid? Has my bitachon, has my faith been more solid and become strengthened? At the end of the day, have I grown today? Have I grown? Have I made a difference today? And that's a question we have to ask ourselves constantly. And we see the Rebbe here with Mashiach Mekarov.